tears were coming up for me because it's so strong and it's so powerful.
Han meditations. Guys, I have such an interesting video for you today. We kind of went through something similar. I wouldn't say we went through something similar, but we had a similar experience. This video that we're going to watch today is a priest said, Jesus led me to Islam. So let's just watch the video and then we'll talk. We have so much to say, guys. This is, let's see.
Let's get into it, then we'll talk.
A former female priest who spent more than 2 decades in the Episcopal Church is now speaking out after being defrocked because she embraced another faith. Today, Ann Holmes Redding calls herself both a Christian and a Muslim, but her move to Islam came at a very high price. Dan Harris reports on this woman's test of faith.
Ann Holmes Redding was an Episcopal priest for 25 years until a radical test of faith. Several years ago, while she was mourning the death of her mother, she was trying out an Islamic meditation technique that she'd learned in an interfaith class. And that, she says, is when it happened.
It came with such clarity and such power that I could understand it as nothing else but an invitation from God.
In fact, she says it was Jesus himself who led her to Islam.
You think Jesus led you to become a Muslim?
Yes. Yes.
You're laughing.
Because I know it doesn't make sense to people.
Now, Redding not only prays in church, but she also prays 5 times a day to Allah.
In Islam, Jesus is viewed as a prophet.
Yes.
Not as the Son of God.
Yes, you're right.
So yours is a radical rethink of the Christian scriptures, a rethink that a lot of people would call heretical.
Yes, and do. Loudly.
This spring, the Episcopal Church revoked Redding's right to be a priest.
Being defrocked, I would imagine, was a pretty traumatic experience.
Yes, that's an understatement. To imagine not being involved intimately in the lives of believing people, helping them understand their relationship and calling, baptizing babies.
It's a big loss.
It's a huge loss.
Redding admits she still struggles to explain her transformation, even to herself.
I am the one who's going to have to answer for this. I'm the one who's going to have to answer for what I've done with my life.
And do you feel confident about that moment?
It's in the best of hands.
Wow. So Kelly, what do you think about that?
Man, I don't know why that's getting me a little emotional. I feel like tears were coming up for me because I just feel like I can totally relate to what she's saying. And it's one of those things that's a little bit tricky to put into those words. But when you do feel Jesus or a higher power talk to you during a meditation, during a prayer, it's so strong and it's so powerful. And it's actually pretty funny because just a couple nights ago, I don't know the exact prayer that's meant to be 5 times a day yet, but it's been on my heart lately.
Because we saw it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But I don't know the exact wording yet.
You didn't memorize it yet.
Right. So, but I wanted to just kind of like try out my own little prayer kind of thing. So I didn't do that prayer, but I got on my knees in front of our bed and, you know, put my hands together and just in my own kind of prayer, sent gratitude to God. And then I felt a little bit of a wave of emotion come over me because I was kind of contemplating on, you know, what if I were to revert to Islam? You know, is that the right path for me? I really have been thinking about that lately. And then I felt some emotion come over me because I felt a bit of a yearning for Christianity just because it's like, it reminds me of my childhood, you know, because as I got older, my family didn't go to church quite as much, but so much of so I have so many memories with Christianity. All my family does Christianity. I think about, you know, on Christmas, you go up and you get your communion. It was just so many. I'm like, I felt a bit of a saddening to walk away from that because it felt so rooted in who I am in a way. I never really thought it was so much. And I started doing a bit of crying. And then honestly, I also felt like I heard from Jesus in that moment. And it just felt like he was saying, like, you know, it's okay. You don't take your time. I feel like our path isn't meant to be known right at this time. But it felt like Jesus was saying, it's okay. You don't have to step away from that. Just keep exploring. Keep exploring. And, you know, you can still have those roots and, you know, that can still be a part of you. And the path will be unfolded is what it truly felt like. And it's not time to make that decision quite yet.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'll always celebrate Christmas, of course. Because
yeah, of course.
That's just a holiday of giving, and it's such a beautiful holiday
part
as
of
well.
Our,
so,
our
yeah,
culture.
it's just part of the culture. But yeah, when I was watching that video, it reminded me of whenever I was at that time, whenever I was going through the whole kidney saga. And if you guys don't know, I got classified with chronic kidney disease. They said I wouldn't get better. And it was an absolute miracle that I did get better. Mm-hmm. But at that time, Kelly was giving me a Reiki healing session, and she felt Jesus come in, and Jesus said, you have to start working with me and working with God. Mm-hmm. And that's what you have to start doing. So at that point in time, I'm a simple man. If I hear something, if someone tells me to do something, I do it. So if the doctors tell me this is what you have to do, I do it. If it feels aligned with me. If they say, hey, eat better, and in my heart, I know I have to eat better, that is exactly what I'm going to do. If they say, hey, you have to work out, I'm going to work out. If they say, hey, do this, then that is exact. Don't eat salt. I'm not going to eat salt. I'm a simple man. So when Jesus said that, I was like, oh, that is absolutely correct. I have to get closer to God in this moment because God is in control of the miracles. And it's just, and I believe that Jesus has a big part of that as well. So he's one of the people that is working under God to help with this whole process. Mm-hmm. So to me, it is a beautiful thing. And whenever Kelly and I were first getting into Islam and watching these videos and we heard the end time story, we're like, why would Jesus come and convert other people to Islam? It doesn't even make sense. It does not make sense.
We weren't sure about it.
And then once we started watching it a little bit, learning a little bit, I was starting to think, well, Jesus never told people to worship him. Jesus never told people to make a pope and worship the pope. I saw this video of the pope like kissing and washing people's feet, and that's supposed to be his thing that he does to maybe stay grounded or something. Maybe he's a freak. I don't know why he was doing it. All the women were attractive somehow. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. But so he was doing that, but people in the comments were worshiping him and praising him like, you know, like people were literally saying that they're praying to the Pope and stuff. I was like, what the heck is this? So Jesus never said to do any of that. So whenever it makes sense of Islam and being a Muslim is all about just being about God, and they still believe that Jesus was a prophet, he did miracles, and he was a high level being that worked under God. Yeah. To me, that's not so bad at all. And that's.
Yep. And well, for the washing of the feet thing, I actually remember one time at my church, we did, if you wanted to, you could get your feet washed. And from what I remember, and I actually did it. And it was.
Kissed your feet?
No.
Because the Pope was kissing toes.
Okay, there was no kissing. It was just a washing of the feet. It was just a little ceremony. And basically, from what I remember, it was like back then, it was like a power dynamic, kind of. So basically, only servants were meant to work. Kind of only servants were meant to wash others' feet. And it was a thing. But Jesus, he washed people's feet. And so people were like, oh, wow, like you're supposed to be someone, you know, we look up to. And like, I can't believe he would wash people's feet. And so I think it's meant to be something like, oh, you know, put your ego out of it and all those things. And like, if you're willing to wash people's feet, you know, we're all equal. Yeah. I think that's what it stemmed from. But I love this story.
Yeah, because it's about putting your ego down. Yeah. And really, and he was washing prisoners' feet. Yes, so it was even another layer on top of it where it's like, hey, look, this is a kind of like, you know, you're supposed to be a holy type person. Yeah. So you forgive people, you show that you have faith in God. You're not better than anyone. Yeah, exactly. You're not better than anyone. You're not an egomaniac. You're not a narcissist. You can wash someone's feet and still be in the correct and proper vibration of love and harmony and God. So I think that is mainly what that is about. But that story was so interesting to me. And what a shame that they revoked her priesthood just for that. I mean, it's absolutely crazy that Jesus came to her. You can look at her in her face and tell she wasn't lying.
Oh,
so
yeah.
everybody has different experiences and everybody's on a different path. And like Kelly said, our path isn't necessarily meant to be known right at this moment, but we're so excited to figure out what it is. So continue being there with us, guys, and supporting us, because we're all on our path together and we're doing a lot of hard work to spread this message and try and bring God into someone's life. So even if you share this video, introduce God to someone, it can change their life for generations to come. Just you being here, just you watching the video, you liking it, you commenting it is all you need to do to support the channel. But if you do want to donate, there are a PayPal link and Cash App in the bio that you can link, because we did invest a lot of money and time into this, but we love doing it for you guys. We truly feel there's a higher purpose. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.